Welcome to this episode of the Homestead Journey Podcast 5-Minute Fridays, your weekly dose of information, inspiration, and motivation. Now, here's your host, Brian Wells.
Thank you, Bonnie, and welcome everyone to another 5-Minute Friday. Now, today we are going to kind of jump off of last week's 5-Minute Friday. So if you haven't listened to last week's 5-Minute Friday, I would recommend you pause this, go listen to it, and then come back here and start this episode because they're kind of connected. On last week's episode, we talked about a jerk that I ran into in one of the homesteading groups that I'm a part of. And I just admonished you not to let the jerks get the best of you. Keep asking questions and keep furthering your knowledge on your journey towards self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and sustainability. Today, I want to challenge you not to be a jerk. And folks, I like to think that I have the most wonderful audience in homesteading, that everyone is a gentleman or a gentlewoman, and that we treat others the way that we would like to be treated. But let's face it, folks, sometimes all of us at one time or another can come across as jerks. I know I do it. Sometimes I do it without even meaning to do it. And there are sometimes, quite frankly, when I do it on purpose, but we're not going to talk about that. But folks, when you're dealing with new people, and maybe you are a new person now in the homesteading genre, but you're not going to be a new person for long. Eventually, as you accumulate knowledge, there are going to be friends of yours, acquaintances of friends of yours, friends of friends of yours, friends of family of yours, who are going to get connected to you. And all of a sudden, you are going to become the subject matter expert, whether it's in chickens, canning, gardening, whatever. Trust me, folks, it's going to happen. And that's a great thing. There's going to come a point in time where it feels like you have answered the same questions over and over and over and over again. I want to challenge you. Understand where you're at and remember where you were at when you first came into homesteading. And even if it feels like you're answering the same question for the 1,000th time, remember that the person asking the question, this is brand new to them. Somebody who I think does this very, very well. I love watching any video with Joel Salatin. Joel Salatin answers the same questions over and over and over again. And yet so many times he will start his answer with this. That's a great question. I want to be like that. I don't want to be a jerk, but I want to be somebody who is a positive influence in people's lives and encourages people to ask questions and to keep learning and to keep growing and to keep taking that next right step on their journey towards self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and sustainability. So I want to ask you to join me in not being a jerk. All right, folks, this week's journey quote of the week is this: there will always be obstacles and challenges that stand in your way. Building mental strength will help you develop resilience to those potential hazards so you can continue on your journey to success. And that comes from Amy Morin. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll catch you on next week's 5-Minute Friday.
Brian can be reached by emailing him at brian@thehomesteadjourney.net or by contacting him via our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. If you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support this podcast, we invite you to become a member of the Supporting Listeners Program. For $10 a month or $100 per year, you will receive access to a community of like-minded individuals via a private Facebook group, at least one monthly live Q&A with Brian, the opportunity to participate in live recordings of the podcast, access to an ever-expanding library of helpful homesteading content, and so much more. head on over to support.thehomesteadjourney.net for more information and to sign up today. As always, the music on this episode was provided by audionautics.com. So a big shout out to them.
And until next time, everybody, keep up the good work.